Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we've torn through some fascinating source material on an educational model that, well, it really challenges everything we think we know about how a school should be run.
It really does.
We are taking a trip, conceptually at least, to Thailand to study a place called the Bamboo School.
And this is deep dive into genuine structural innovation. The sources all point back to one person, Machai Viravidya. He's a figure who is globally recognized for these, well, radical and incredibly effective approaches to social change.
Right, and many people might know his name from his earlier work. The stuff he did in public health was, legendary. He used humor and some pretty unconventional methods to lower Thailand's population growth rate so dramatically.
But we are setting that aside today. That's a whole other deep dive.
Exactly. Today, we're focusing purely on his later mission, which is just as disruptive, really. He's trying to transform education.
Moving from population control to a pedagogical revolution, you could say.
Yeah. So our goal is to really unpack the model of this bamboo school. It was founded in 2008. And we want to understand its mandate, which is, it's explicit and it's super ambitious.
It is. The school aims to be a beacon of lifelong learning, sure, but the critical part is its other goal, to be a direct engine for measurable socioeconomic advancement in rural communities.
A direct engine, that's the key phrase.
It's an investigation into how education can be a financial and social driver today, not some promise for 15 years down the line when a student graduates.
Okay, so let's unpack that. The Bamboo School opens its doors in 2008, but it's not just another school. It defines itself immediately as a place where the output isn't just test scores.
No, the output is actual wealth, actual community development.
And that mission statement, that seems to be the foundation for everything else. It dictated this whole structural overhaul.
It's absolutely fundamental. Typically a school's strategy is all about curriculum design. What books are we reading? What math are we teaching? Here, the unique strategy that unlocks that socioeconomic outcome is all about how the school is managed. They built a decentralized, student-led enterprise.
Okay, decentralized and student-led. I read that, and honestly, my eyebrow went up. You're talking about taking kids who are there to learn, geometry and history, and you're handing them the keys to the operational side of a pretty complex institution.
That's exactly. And that is the most unique feature confirmed by all the source material. Students play this crucial, and in many cases, a majority role in the actual day-to-day operational management of the school.
So this is way beyond a typical student council that just plans the prom.
Oh, miles beyond. They are the active management committee. We're talking real leadership roles.
Like budget decisions, procurement.
Budget decisions, procurement, maintenance scheduling.
Right.
The real administrative functions that require, real-world skills.
So students are shifting from being these passive recipients of information to being, like fully vested operational shareholders in the school itself.
That's a great way to put it. They're shareholders. And what's really fascinating is that this management responsibility, it's distributed across all age groups.
All age groups? What do you mean?
Right down to the youngest children. It's not just the high school seniors managing the budget. This participatory model has a twofold impact. One is community development, and the other is personal skill mastery.
Okay, let's stick with that community impact piece first. It seems like a massive weight to put on kids, telling them, hey, your education is the tool for transforming the economic reality of your village.
It's a huge mandate.
So how do they actually do that, practically speaking?
They do it by turning lessons into immediate income-generating practice. The school model intentionally teaches students practical, marketable skills right from kindergarten. Skills that are designed to directly affect their parents' income, their community's income, like right away.
Give me a concrete example of that, because marketable skills in kindergarten sounds like a great tagline, but...
It does, but it's real. The classic example from the sources is the mushroom farming initiative. Okay, so young students, we're talking kindergarten, maybe up to grade 3, they aren't just reading about fungi in a science book.
Right.
They're taught the entire process of cultivating oyster mushrooms. They learn how to source the spores, manage the humidity, track the growth cycle. And this is the most critical part, how to market the product.
So their science project is literally a micro business.
Precisely. They are responsible for the entire supply chain and for the revenue it generates. Then the kids take these skills, and the school provides materials and support.
Okay.
And they go back to their homes. They help their families set up small mushroom cultivation huts, right there in their village or on their family farm.
Wait, hold on. So a student comes home from school and can immediately, like that week, increase their family's income through something they learned in class that day.
Yes, that's it.
That connection between educational input and economic output couldn't be more direct. That's what they mean by socioeconomic advancement.
It is the ultimate form of applied learning. It completely bypasses that long lag time we always assume exists between getting an education and seeing a financial return.
But it can't just be the little kids growing mushrooms.
No, of course not. The older students, they're the ones handling the really complex operational management of the whole campus.
So what kinds of jobs are we talking about for, say, middle and high school students? Are they rotating through these roles?
They are long-term functional responsibilities, and they're essential to the school running. For example, you have students who are in charge of procurement.
So they're negotiating contracts.
They are negotiating contracts for everything from school supplies to the food for the cafeteria. You have other student teams managing the maintenance and the physical upkeep of the facilities.
Which means what? Scheduling, budgeting for repairs?
Yes, and leading teams of younger students, or even hiring and managing external laborers for a specific job.
Wow. I imagine the stakes for making a mistake are incredibly high, which is probably the whole point.
It is the point. If a student managing the food supply chain miscalculates, the entire student body feels that impact at lunchtime. That's real-world accountability.
And that level of functional autonomy must be where the second key impact you mentioned comes in, the personal skill development.
Exactly. When you have genuine responsibility over budgets, resources, and people, you are forced to learn leadership. You learn operational planning. And you learn empathy. And this is crucial compassion.
I can see the leadership and the planning, but tell me more about the empathy and compassion. How does that come from managing a budget?
Well, think about it. When students are the ones making decisions about how to allocate resources, let's say they have to decide between repairing a leaking roof in one building and buying new sports equipment.
Okay.
They are forced to weigh the needs of the entire community against individual wants. That's an exercise in empathy. When an older student is mentoring a younger one who's struggling with their mushroom enterprise, they're exercising compassion. They're learning to teach, not just to follow orders.
They're learning that effective management is actually about serving and understanding the needs of your peers.
Fundamentally, yes.
That's fascinating. It just flips the traditional model on its head. In most schools, students might learn about leadership in, a civics class. Here, they're learning resource management by actually managing the resources of a campus.
The management experience is the curriculum. The school itself becomes this living laboratory for community development and entrepreneurship.
So the skills are immediately transferable. If they're mastering supply chain logistics by ordering cafeteria food, they can apply that to managing a local co-op or their family business the moment they leave school.
Or even while they're still in school. This is the key. The model is training current agents of development, not just future graduates.
So that's how the student management model directly leads to socioeconomic advancement. The skills are applied, not theoretical.
Absolutely. And, this model isn't just a theory. It's proven to be so effective that other schools have started paying close attention.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's being replicated.
It is. Our sources indicate that hundreds of other schools across Thailand have already adopted elements of this strategy.
Hundreds. Wow.
Particularly the integration of community enterprise, like the mushroom farming, and some level of student-led management.
That kind of widespread adoption is the strongest proof point you can have, isn't it? It suggests the principles are scalable, they're transferable.
And it builds on Machai Viravaidya's whole philosophy.
Right. Yeah.
He has a track record of using unconventional means to empower citizens to create their own change. He trusts the local community.
And in this case, the local community is the student body itself.
Precisely. The model views students not as subjects to be taught, but as human capital to be mobilized right now. It's a critical structural change that maximizes community wealth and skill building at the same time.
Okay, so let's just summarize this for a second. We've taken a deep dive into the Bamboo School, a 2008 initiative that completely redefined its purpose. It's using this radical model of student management to instill leadership, enterprise, compassion, all while making sure that students are actively driving social and economic development in their own communities through hands-on learning, right from kindergarten.
And that really brings us to the final question, the thing for you to chew on after this deep dive is over.
Yeah.
Given the Bamboo School's proven success, Success in leveraging student self-governance to translate education into measurable income for families and communities.
A strategy born out of, real immediate economic need.
Exactly. So should schools in countries with established resources, richer countries where that same urgency might not be quite as acute, should they adopt this level of student self-governance in their elementary, middle, or high school systems?
That's the question, and more specifically, which parts of it? Should we be transferring real management power like budgeting or procurement, or running a school-based enterprise to students globally?
What lessons about making students true stakeholders in their own institution could we learn? Could it address some of those common complaints we hear all the time about, disconnected or abstract learning, even in the most highly resourced education systems?
That is the challenge to chew on.
We really encourage you to explore the Mackay Foundation and the specifics of this school's operational model. You'll find the links in your source material.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.